He was one of the 4 legendary kings said to have ruled the entire world. A prophet, unlike any other one, who commanded the Jinn and made them serve by divine will, granted countless miracles. His wealth was unmatched in human history. He understood the language of animals, speaking to birds and beasts alike. Even the winds obeyed his call. This is the chilling and mysterious life of Prophet Suleiman, a tale whispered through time and honored in the sacred texts. A journey through power, prophecy, and divine wisdom. Suleiman alayhi salam was born in Gaza. His father is H.Z. David was 12 to 13 years old. When he died, like his father, he first became a ruler and then a prophet. He built Beit al-Maqdis and Masjid al-Aqsa in 7 years. He married Belkis, the queen of Sheba, in Yemen, and died in Jerusalem H.Z. Is seen as a ruler prophet in the books of Tafsir Hadith, history and parables, especially the Holy Quran. Suleiman alayhi salam and his superior qualities are talked about extensively. Prophet Muhammad is mentioned by name in 16 places in the Quran. It is stated that he was the son and heir of David, that he was made superior, that he was a grateful, righteous, wise, and understanding servant, and his ability to easily solve complex issues with his sharp intelligence, vast knowledge, and wisdom is mentioned. Allah, like other prophets, he also gave revelation to Suleiman alayhi salam and guided him to the right path like the others. Quran H.Z. It states that Solomon was a good servant, that he always turned to Allah, and that he had a great value and a good place in the sight of Allah. 2 believers, 2 disbelievers, 4 rulers who held dominion over the entire world, as narrated in Islamic tradition. Among them were 2 righteous servants of Allah, prophets who ascended the throne at the young age of 12 or 13 and ruled with divine justice. And Dhul-Qarnayn, the traveler king mentioned in the Quran. The other 2 were tyrants: Nimrod, the arrogant king who defied Abraham, and Bhutan Nasir, the ruthless destroyer of kingdoms. Prophet Suleiman's reign stretched from Syria to Persia, a vast empire ruled not only with political power, but with divine miracles, wisdom, and the command over jinn, wind, and animals. His legacy, unlike the others, was one of submission to Allah, justice, and enlightenment. The prayer of Prophet Suleiman echoes through the pages of the Quran, a plea not for wealth alone, but for a kingdom unlike any ever seen. He raised his hands and said, "My Lord, forgive me, and grant me a kingdom that no one after me will ever attain. Truly, you are the ever." In response, Allah granted him dominion beyond human reach, winds that carried him wherever he wished, devils and jinn who built palaces and dove deep into the seas, and others bound in iron chains. Allah said, "This is our gift. Give freely or withhold. You have full authority," a divine rule unmatched in all of history. Just like his father, Prophet David, Allah blessed Suleiman with kingship, prophethood, wisdom, and deep knowledge. Yet, Solomon's insight and judgment surpassed even his father's. The Quran presents a striking example. One night, a flock of sheep wandered into a farmer's field and destroyed the crops. David, acting as judge, ruled that the sheep should be given to the crop owner as compensation. But young Suleiman proposed a wiser solution. The crop field should temporarily be given to the shepherds to restore, while the sheep should go to the farmer, so he could benefit from their milk and wool. Once the field was restored, both parties would return what they were entrusted with. David accepted his son's ruling and praised his discernment. This story became a timeless example of justice, guided by divine wisdom. Another narration speaks of 2 women claiming the same child. And once again, it was Suleiman's deep intuition that revealed the truth. Among the divine blessings bestowed upon Prophet Suleiman was his command over the winds. The Quran tells us of a wind that could carry him with hurricane force. Its morning journey would last a month, and its evening return another. According to classical narrations, though not all verified, it is said that Suleiman had a great wooden platform built. Whenever he prepared for war or travel, all his materials and soldiers were loaded onto it. Then, By the will of Allah, the winds would lift him and his army, carrying them across lands and skies. He was also taught the language of birds. When the hoopoe bird went missing from his ranks, he noticed and demanded an explanation, declaring punishment if no excuse was valid. The bird soon returned, bringing news from the distant land of Sheba. Not just birds, but many creatures of the earth were made to speak with Suleiman. His kingdom was not just built on gold and armies, but on miracles and knowledge beyond this world. As Prophet Suleiman marched with his vast army through the valley, a tiny voice was heard. The voice of an ant. It cried out to its fellow ants, "Enter your homes, lest you be crushed unknowingly by Solomon and his soldiers." Suleiman, gifted with the ability to understand all creatures, heard the warning and smiled with humility. He turned to his Lord and said, "My Lord, inspire me to be thankful for your blessings upon me and my parents, and to do righteousness that pleases you." A king with power over wind and jinn, yet he paused in gratitude for the wisdom of an ant. This moment reflects not only a miracle, but the humility of a prophet. The Quran reveals that Prophet Suleiman was granted an extraordinary army, not only of men, but also of birds and jinn. They moved together in perfect harmony on expeditions. Following his command, the jinn under his rule were tasked with wondrous duties. They constructed grand palaces, carved statues, crafted massive bowls, like pools, and fixed enormous cauldrons in place. Among the devils were builders, divers, and craftsmen, all working under the authority of a No empire in history had such forces. A kingdom where the seen and unseen served side by side, united by divine will. The queen and the prophet, the throne, the crystal palace, and divine submission. Prophet Solomon ruled from a magnificent palace built by the hands of jinn and humans, adorned with artistry far beyond its time. His dominion stretched across lands, but a mysterious absence disrupted his plans. The hoopoe bird, the scout of his army, had gone missing. When it returned, it carried news from a distant kingdom. She ruled by a mighty queen named Belkis, who possessed a magnificent throne, yet worshipped the sun. Solomon, a prophet king who served the one true God, sent a letter with the hoopoe, calling her to submit to Allah. Wise and diplomatic, sent envoys with gifts to test the prophetess' intentions. But Solomon refused them and declared that if they would not come in peace, his forces would enter with power. Then came the miracle. Solomon asked, "Who can bring me her throne before she arrives?" A mighty jinn offered to do so before Solomon could rise from his seat. But a man who had knowledge of the book brought it in the blink of an eye. Some say it was others say it was Asaf of Ember, a trusted vizier who knew the greatest name of Allah. Belkis arrived and was awestruck by the beauty and divine aura of Solomon's palace. A glass floor covering water misled her into lifting her robes, thinking it was a pool. Realizing it was crystal, she was humbled. Witnessing Solomon's wisdom, miracles, and faith, she declared, "My lord, indeed I have wronged myself. I now submit with Solomon to Allah, Lord of the worlds."